the worst part of it was just for me having to do it for a second time because I had already, like I said, been through it before. And then not to mention, also have a disability, you know. Um, when I was a child, I was in a traumatic accident. So I'm also an amputee. My name is Janette. Well, actually, I was diagnosed with two different types. The first cancer I was diagnosed with was thyroid cancer, and that was in 2010. And then the other cancer I was diagnosed with was leukemia, and it's a type called CML, which stands for chronic myeloid or myelogenous leukemia, and that was in 2014. Never think that you can't get cancer because you can. And if you ever feel like something is wrong, please get checked out. It started off with like sore throat at first, and then I noticed as time went on, the sore throats kept getting worse and worse, and I would go to the ER each time, and they would tell me I have like a strep throat. And then I got strep throat a couple times back to back, and then I noticed I started having kind of an issue with swallowing, and then some swelling in this area, and that's when I kind of figured something was wrong. So I consulted my primary doctor, and she referred me to the ears, nose, and throat doctor. Doctor did some tests, and yeah, it came back that I had thyroid cancer. I was actually like shocked because I never would have thought that I would be told that I have cancer. Don't sit and think like, oh, it could never happen to me because, it can. Um, and I just was surprised, because I have never ever had cancer, never had symptoms of cancer. I did 2 rounds of chemo, and then the side effects from that, I just felt a little funny. Like kind of felt like I was weak a little bit. I don't know if that was from the radiation itself. And then I kind of had to quarantine, like I couldn't really be around family and friends for a while. So that it itself was a whole new experience. Yeah, so it wasn't that bad, but the side effects was like, I just kept finding, kind of felt tired, kind of, you know, a little bit down on energy. But after a while, I was okay. But once the radiation was done, I felt better. I did also end up having surgery, two separate surgeries to have my thyroid removed. They made an incision here. Um, they started with the right side, I think, first, and removed that side. And they found large nodules or tumors, and then they waited a little while, and then they did the left side, and then they had to put in like a drain. I had to wear that, to drain all the mucus and all the icky stuff, the blood and all that stuff. It was very, very painful. I couldn't eat for a while. Things like that. Fast forward to 2014. So after the whole experience with thyroid cancer, I started to feel better again. I started, gaining my energy back, and stuff like that for a while. And then it was just like out of nowhere, some different symptoms started coming. I started, uh, feeling tired all the time. And then I remember a couple times, I just started not feeling good, nauseous, like I wanted to vomit, stuff like that. And then the nausea lasted for a little while, and then I did start having days where I would vomit and stuff like that. And then it went from that to slowly, gradually, I was going to the bathroom, and uh, I noticed a couple times when I went to the bathroom and had a bowel movement and I wiped, I noticed blood and stuff. So I told my doctor, and she referred me to an oncologist. I said, well, hey, isn't that a cancer doctor? She said, well, yes, based on the history of cancer in your family, because I had my grandma, which is my dad's mom, and then an aunt, which is one of my dad's sisters. They had breast cancer, so and they both passed away, sadly. So she scheduled an appointment, referred me there. I went and seen the oncologist, and they did some tests where they get a sample of your marrow. They did some blood work, and it came back that I had leukemia. That one, I would say, was a little more hard. And I actually broke down and cried. Because I felt like for some reason, I don't know why, but I felt like that one was a little more serious. So, um, I was very, very upset. Especially the fact that I had already went through cancer once and now I had to go through it all over again. At first, doctor wanted to see me twice a month. So I'm guessing it was pretty bad. So twice a month. And then he ordered a medicine right away for me to start. The first medication I was on was called Tasigna, and that is a chemo medication. It's in the form of a pill, but I was having issues with that because of my thyroid, I swallow big pills, so I had to empty the pill in like applesauce, stuff like that. And then I had to take it 3 times a day, so that was a lot to manage. So after a while, he switched me to a different one, and that's the one that I'm currently on, which is called Sprycel. And the Sprycel is a lot easier to manage because I only take it 1 time a day every day. And it's a little smaller. Sometimes I just feel a little nauseated here and there, but I like it better than the Tasigna just because I don't have to try to remember to take it up to 3 times a day and stuff like that. It's, a lot easier to manage. I'm not really sure why my doctor didn't want me to have chemo intravenously. I'm not sure if maybe he thought it might be too much of a risk. I'm not sure. Right now, I'm being monitored. I do still have to take the medication. He said that right now he doesn't feel like I should stop the medication. And right now, I'm doing great. My cancer is in remission, and I see him every 6 months, so I'm doing pretty good right now. The worst part of it was just for me having to do it for a second time because I had already, like I said, been through it before. And then not to mention, also have a disability, you know. Um, When I was a child, I was in a traumatic accident. So I'm also an amputee. I lost my left arm and leg. I was hit by a train. I was drugged 75 feet down the tracks. It happened in 92. I just turned 44 back in February. So I think I might have I was 11 years old. So, this is my arm. So I lost it below the elbow on my left side. And then my leg, I lost below the knee. It's hard, especially when I think that when you have a chronic or a terminal illness, especially when you have a disability also to deal with, it is so hard. Even though I'm in remission, I think the doctors already pretty much told me and confirmed that I'm gonna have to take and be on medication the rest of my life. And then I also have the fear of the what if, which is the what if it comes back. So that would be my answer. And then to extend that answer, I would also say there is a part of me that I'll never get back, sorry, because of my traumatic accident, childhood accident. I lost my arm and leg and everything. And with that experience, I had to go through a lot. I had to, I had to go through occupational therapy to learn how to do the simplest things: eat with a fork, hold a spoon, get dressed, like put on a shirt, pants, everything. So. The one piece of advice that I would want someone after hearing my story and seeing my story would to be, if you are ever diagnosed with cancer or any other chronic, whether it's chronic or terminal or both, don't give up. I know it may be hard. I know there's days that someone out there probably would say, hey, look, I'm tired of going through this. I'm tired of fighting this battle, but don't give up. And my other piece of advice would be, if you feel that it gets so to the point that it's too much and then it's overwhelming for you, to contact someone and try to talk to someone and get help. Contact your hospital social worker and tell them you need to talk to someone. And then once you contact your hospital social worker, somebody, they have resources. Maybe if you need to talk to a counselor, someone, I would advise that you do that. But just don't sit in silence, because that can most times lead you into a dark, I call it a tunnel. Some people call it tunnel, rabbit hole, or a dark place. For me, when I first found out, I was in a very dark place. I shut myself off from people. I didn't want to talk or be around anybody. So please don't let it get to that point.